First and foremost, I just want to thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule. I know you're doing a million things, and man, the men's ministry here at Grove is going to be, or is, celebrating Men's Health Week, which is this week, and we here at Grove, we look at the man in a three-part person, so to speak, the triune being, which is the mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah.
I thought it would be fitting if you would come on just to talk to us a little bit about the spirit man, and because you have been so uplifting in my life, man, and I just know that you have a lot of good knowledge to share and hopefully help the people that might see this video. So if we can start by just telling us who you are, a little bit about yourself, and kind of what you do.
Most excellent, man. Thank you for the opportunity yet again. I'm so glad that we got on the phone here this week and talked about this, and that God presented this opportunity. And then tangential to that, Grove is near and dear to me.
Right.
When we were in the DC metro area and we would come back home. Portsmouth is home to my wife, as you know, and my mother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
And Grove is her home church. And so I love Pastor Mariner. Say it again.
You introduced me to Grove.
Say so.
Yeah.
Say so. And it was well worth it. Well worth it. I love Pastor Mariner, and the man that he is too. And so with me, John Haynes III, family and friends call me Trey. I am born in Norfolk, Virginia, moved from there when I was age 7, and then grew up in Gaithersburg, Maryland, and then came back down to go to school at Hampton University, majored in electrical engineering for 4 complete years till I discovered I was never going to be an engineer. And somehow through the grace of God and a whole bunch of failure, didn't have to come home, but ended up transferring to Old Dominion University, majored in psychology, and walked into the City Hall of Norfolk, Virginia during paying my car taxes. And I believe it was God that said, after you do this, go to HR. And that's exactly what I did. I went there and I asked for an internship. And so 25 plus years ago, I spoke with Mary Williams in HR at the City Hall of Norfolk, Virginia, asked her for an internship, and she hired me on the spot. And so, for 25 years, I have been doing what I was doing as a kid, which was really giving good advice to other people, and as a kid, I was called upon for advice and, what would you do in this instance?
Right.
And so I wanted to do that for business leaders. And today I get the blessing and the opportunity to work for a multi-billion-dollar global corporation in Johnson Controls. And I'm the corporate director for HR. And I support 4 of our C-suite leaders as their strategic HR business partner. And I'm also a leadership and business coach, with the whole mission to help leaders free up and to understand what's keeping them from getting to their starting lines. And so that means removing all the blockages of the spirit man and the physical man at the same time.
Speaking on spirit man, just tell me briefly, what does spirit man mean to you?
Spirit man means that that portion of me that is the relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
And it is taking care of my essence. And I do believe that I am a spirit that's doing human life and not the other way around. So it is that relationship with God that I have inside that I want to translate to outside.
Mm-hmm. If you could, in a couple sentences or so, give the listening audience, maybe guys in particular that may be struggling with the spirit man, what would you say to help them in that area of their lives?
Man, every day, and I literally mean every day, it is a mission to heal, to recover, to restore, to repair my spirit man, and to be able to operate in all faith. And that requires a couple of things from me to God. That requires my submission, that requires my obedience, and it also requires my all out faith. And submission and obedience are those things that we just have to do. They're just directional. We have to do it. But if I'm looking at it totally, faith is a muscle too, and I have to exercise it. And if I have to exercise it, that means I have to practice it. So, that spirit man is that relationship with God that I have to develop every single day, whether that be through reading his word, talking with people like us in this conversation about God, and getting closer to him every single day.
A lot of men who are typically, the head of the household, in a lot of instances, carry the burdens of the entire family. So oftentimes, maybe, as the head of the household, I might not be experiencing something that's particularly, dealing with me, but it's something that's dealing with my family. How do you, as the spirit man, navigate through those type of issues?
Few things. Thank you for that question. That's an important one because we do carry the head of the household title, but that doesn't mean we should do it alone. And so we have to learn to ask for help. And that can come in the form of our spouses. And some of us may say that, well, my spouse can't handle what it is that's on my back or what I'm carrying. I have to trust Gwen to be able to use her talent to help me. So I have to be able to communicate what I'm going through, whether it's familial or professional, so that she can use her gifting to help me. The other thing is that we need help. We need to surround ourselves with great men who can hold us accountable, who can sharpen us as iron, and who serve as iron. And the other thing is I have to be in my word, and I have to believe in the word, and I have to put the word to work. And that's how, primarily how I handle those issues. We cannot go through it alone. Kurt Franklin talks about it in a conversation that he had online. He was like, he's afraid that men go into the man cave and die. And that's not a necessary end for us. We have to rely on each other. We have to call on one another, and we have to be reliable and be willing to hold each other accountable and give a word when we need it. So
that's awesome. Good stuff. And I know you deal a lot in purpose and helping people find their purpose and so forth. How does the spirit man relate to purpose, in your opinion?
Purpose is everything. It's the GPS destination.
Mm.
I always, whenever I'm starting a strategy conversation or a coaching conversation with a leader, I always, talk about the end in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And the end in mind is really purpose and what you are fully expressed, what you are, what being all of what God created you to be. And we find it through service. We find it through, sometimes we find it through work and those things that we are naturally great at. There's another pastor in Virginia Beach that talks about the difference between the burden and the not the burden and the bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
And the bucket list are those things that you list and you say, hey, if I get that done, cool. I checked it off my list. Maybe skydiving, maybe bungee jumping, wouldn't do that again. But that burden is that thing that wakes you up at night, that thing that you carry, that you have the solution for, that you are a solution for. Mm. And so that thing to find that is so very key because it guides all of my decision making. It guides what job I take. It takes how I volunteer. It takes my place in the kingdom, how I become the church, how I help people. It's a guide for life. And I want to make sure that leaders know that. I want to make sure that I'm aware of that.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. And like I said, again, man, I appreciate you just taking a few moments of your time just to kind of drop these nuggets on us. And I know that this will bless the spirit of somebody. And in closing, man, if you could just give us, 2 or 3 bullet points that you'd like to leave in regards to the spirit, man, please do so.
You know what? Pray. Find your circle. There's an article I read recently. It's a professional article, but it talks about your personal board of directors. And these are people that will hold you accountable, give you good advice. They serve as mentors, coaches, as well as sponsors. Mm-hmm. And so find that personal board of directors for you and make them to be kingdom men. Mm-hmm. And make them accountable for holding you accountable. Mm-hmm. And find your purpose to the extent that you can. Find your purpose, that end in mind, because it definitely is a guide for life, and it's a guide for how you operate in the kingdom. And you just do not want to be in a position, I promise you, you do not want to be in a position where at the end of your life, you're going over your book of life with God and he asks you why you didn't use everything that I gave you. Mm-hmm. I do not want to be in that position. So it's important to find that purpose and be all of it.
Awesome. Again, man, thank you so much for sharing that wisdom with us today. And I pray that it blesses somebody's spirit, man. And again, I look forward to, getting together once this pandemic is done and behind us. But I appreciate you, man.
Indeed, man. Thank you for using me. I appreciate it. And if Grove needs anything, I'm already there.